Trains in Texas. After a trip for a family wedding, I also managed to do some train lay things while I was out there, including catching a lot of Union Pacific, as you can see right now. I'm gonna basically kind of show. This is kind of like a little mini vlog that I took. I did do some railroading things while I was out there, but nothing too extreme. But I will show you what I did get to see, what basically was going on during in Texas. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. To start the trip off, we took a little accidental detour through New Orleans, Louisiana. And right, what you're seeing is basically one of the main railroad bridges that crosses over the lake into New Orleans. It's quite a few miles long, and what I did see a few trains out there. Unfortunately, I did not have my phone at the time to record them, but basically we're both Norfolk Southern with mixed UP power in like mixed freights, and one of them was an auto rack train in New Orleans. It was cool to see that, but that's kind of the start of it. It was cool to see New Orleans. We saw a lot of like the whole like a few of the lines that made it out of there, and it's just that out of New Orleans, and like the whole kind of shindig there. On top of that, we also like saw some of the like crazy bridges and a lot of the bayous that go through because like we went in because we were traveling to Houston. That's where we were staying, and lo and behold, there was a I've never seen that many like swamps, and I think more. And I live that's coming from a guy who lives in Florida. That there's a lot of the bayous are very cool to see. And on the way there, we saw a lot of bridges. Went through one. I forgot the name of the town, but like a small town, a big one of the major cities. Saw a grain load, like a dock. One of the main bridges was a grain, like a loading dock with for grain hoppers in there, which that was cool. On top of that, we kind of just headed. We continued on west towards Texas with the occasional, and we on the way actually into Houston. Actually, I just remember this. We stopped by saw a whole bunch of oil refineries, and if you guessed it, yep, a lot of tank cars stored. I did in and for some reason grain hoppers too. I don't know if that's why is that thing. Maybe somebody who lives around that area in Texas or knows that kind of stuff. You probably know because I have never seen that before. But yeah, a lot of tank cars in the rail yards I saw over there, and grain hoppers in particular. Those are the main two. So it must be something over there. I have no idea what that is for. I'm not a like I said, I don't know much what goes on in Texas in terms of like the railroads over there, but yeah, it's kind of there, and I'm gonna kind of go into the next stuff. While crossing over one of the major bays and stuff in near closer to Texas, we're on like the Louisiana and Texas state line. Saw a swing bridge that was open. That was pretty cool. Apparently, and I actually did see this. There was apparently an Amtrak station not that few miles away from here. I don't know what trains it served. Most likely the Sunset Limited, which that Amtrak train, fun fact, used to come all the way to Orlando. It does not after Hurricane Katrina anymore, but yeah, I think that's kind of a cool little thing. We have swing bridges here in Florida, but I don't not too common. I know one near Lake Okeechobee, and that's about really it in terms of that. And also, like as we get closer and closer to Texas, like as I was trying to explain before, it's whole bunch of oil refineries, mainly with grain hoppers and tank cars. I don't know why the grain hoppers are there. I understand the tankers, but it's a weird little, it's a weird thing. And but after this, we kind of crossed over like one or two more biomes, and then we entered into Houston. For a few days rest, my family wanted to go to Waco, Texas, just to see something cool there. On the way there, we passed by a Union Pacific yard with a Union Pacific. I don't know if it's a GP38 or GP40 just sitting there, and also another Jeep, but an X, I believe, either X Cotton Belt or X Southern Pacific. If you guys have seen this locomotive, please let me know in the comments. I don't know what, but I'm pretty. It's either most likely XXP. On top of that, at the end of the yard, we managed to see a coal train heading the opposite direction, and it also parked in the yard are two beautiful Union Pacific SD40-2s, waiting for their next, job or whatever. And at the beginning of this intro, as we crossed over a diamond, you can see the end of the coal train passing by with a little helper at the end of it. And as we get further out into the farm country, away from small towns, we've passed by several Union Pacific grain trains, like unit grain trains, and it was and during this time frame, I saw like three of them. So I mean, I guess hey, we gotta it's Texas. I guess that's more common here than in Florida. But yeah, passed by like I believe three Union Pacific grain trains, and I believe in the next clip coming up is a Union Pacific SD70 Ace was leading the train. But yeah, it's always like cool to see different areas, like especially the railroads, because I'm used to seeing CSX and Norfolk Southern. Those are the main two. I've seen BNSF a few times, seen UP a few times, and it's always been it was just always just cool to go out into different areas and just see this stuff. But yeah, as you can see here, like we're just following one of the UP main lines out here there's a SD70 right there, and then another one right there leading that grain train. Only a short time because of the truck. We had to go a different direction from the tracks. All As we got closed into Waco, more tracks came on our left side, and as you can see here, we had a union. There was a maintenance away train. I do not know what they're called on UP for like what the Union Pacific calls them, or I have no idea. But it's a maintenance away train. It was in the siding. It was cool to see. After our trip, after our trip to Waco was done, as we were heading back to our hotel, another grain train couldn't get the phone quick enough to see the units, but they were just standard UP units. Now we're in pretty much Tomball, Texas. This is one of my main kind of railroading thing that I did here. Nice little old depot, well kept. They have a few HO scale and N scale layout, but they're only open on Saturday, so we didn't get to see that. But they had a caboose with an O scale layout displayed inside. So, and the guys were kind enough to let me go in and talk about the layout, talk about the whole area of Texas in general. So yeah, I'm gonna let this kind of more live commentary play, and I'll get back to you at the end of the video. Got an old caboose here. There's a small depot here, which is right next to, looks like a BNSF main line, because we get a train on the siding. Very cool. I don't think there's nothing's coming out at the moment. I'll see if I can get it, but that is very cool. Also, seeing this again, BNSF again, is really cool. Took a trip out to Kansas City to see him for the trip. Nice little old railroad depot. We're still walking around it. Got an old thing though. They got a caboose too.
Here's a bunch of miscellaneous screws.
Okay, I would put those in the cart somewhere if you can find something similar to that.
Okay.
So what train layouts do you deal with? A G-gauge European layout at Disney World?
I actually never knew they had one. I've lived there my whole life. I've never.
It's over in the European sector, over by the lake. They have that area that's all European cities and buildings and stuff, and a bunch of restaurants. And it's over there. It kind of self-operates. It's computerized and it runs every day. I think they go in the morning and use weed eaters to blow all the leaves out of it.
I have to look it up because I've lived there my whole life.
How long are you going to be in town?
Till Saturday. So.
Until Saturday or through Saturday?
Until Saturday. We leave Saturday. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Galveston Rail Museum's having a big train thing on Saturday and Sunday. But you can look them up online if you want to see what they do. They usually have several layouts that come in, clubs, and they also have permanent layouts and a small. They have a 44-ton switcher that runs a mile up and down some tracks.
Oh, nice.
Open car and stuff like that. So you can kind of take that with you to see what's going on with that.
That owns this out here?
Huh?
This track here.
Oh, yeah, that's BNSF that goes from the Port of Houston up to, it connects into the BNSF system up in Fort Worth.
Okay.
Area.
Okay.
But that's how the town became a railroad town.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little.
Currently got by the Tom. Currently, so this is the Tomball Depot in Tomball, Texas. About like a few miles from where I'm staying at. So we decided to stay and just hang out. You wanted to check out this stuff. Got an old maintenance shed. I just took a. There's like. Currently, right now. This is not a siding. This is just a stub end track with as you can see here, a BNSF. Train, like BNSF train here with it, unloading all that, all this, because it's fun. And fun fact, the guys told me this used to be a rail yard here. So yeah, this apparently is the BNSF main that goes down to the port in Houston. So I've heard trains. I've been hearing trains because it's close enough to the tracks that they're blowing the horns and you can hear them. I went and heard them. Hearing them. Don't know if we'll see anything. Hopefully we do. That'd be good to get some footage of that. But yeah, Tomball Depot. It's they had a really nice depot. It's a very nice, well kept. There's an O scale layout in the caboose. The guys, I was chatting with the guys a little bit. So it is very nice. I mean, this track I'm standing on, apparently, from when I asked the guys, this goes to the the port of Houston. So this is BNSF owned territory. It's not Union Pacific. I thought it'd be UP just because we've been seeing so much UP, but no, this is BNSF. A little familiar trip with that. More familiar with this stuff. Traveling to Kansas City. Don't know if any trains are coming because this line doesn't seem too active because where I'm staying is not far. At the time of me recording this, where I'm currently staying, where I was staying at, there's I've only heard like two to three trains in the day. Not 2 to 3, well, like more at night. So it's like probably not gonna see a train here, but I mean, it's cool to come out here. Nice to see some BNSF power. Reminds me of the trip to Kansas City I took. So yeah. But it's a nice little depot. I recommend coming and checking this place out. It's really nice. As if you probably saw early in the video, or probably future me, that the traveling, like running around, saw a lot of Union Pacific power on the way out here, which is obviously not too familiar with, just because trains, the East Coast CSX and NS are probably the main two. But hey, it's cool to see different class ones from time to time. There's no tourist lines nearby. I was thinking about going to a tourist railroad just to add up to that, but it's like the closest one is like the Texas State Railroad is like 3 hours away, unfortunately. So that's kind of, but it's like, hey, it's still cool to come out here and see this stuff. After a short while later, a high railer came by, which at least is cool, still cool to see. But it also tell me that there's not gonna be any trains coming for a while. So yeah, after that, kind of bid farewell to the nice gentleman who were taking care of the Tomball Depot. Got some nice little photos of the property itself, and that's basically kind of it for my trip to Texas. It was a fun little trip, seeing a lot of Union Pacific and BNSF power out there. But that's kind of just it for the video, though. I mean, at the time of uploading this, I'm home. I'm back home in Florida. And I hope you guys kind of enjoyed the little mini vlog. It's my very first time trying to do this, so please bear with me. I'm trying my best. But if you guys did enjoy this little mini vlog, hey, may subscribe. It's free, and you don't have to if you don't want to. So, but anyways, guys, take care. Stay safe. God bless y'all. And this is Dylan Strange. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.